Hey guys, Wrestling Throwdown here. So sorry about that. This is part two. My computer just went crazy and then it said my mic wasn't working and all that. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off. Um, I wanted to tell you guys something about Big Show. You guys know that I started watching wrestling when I was 9 years old, a lot older than the normal average person. I know most people started watching when they were like 4. Well, when I was about 5, I'd say, I used to always go to my grandma's house. She actually got me into wrestling. And my mom, I don't know what she was doing, but I spent the night or whatever at my grandma's house with my brother, and they were obviously watching a wrestling pay-per-view. And I was like totally oblivious. I didn't care about it. I was a girly girl at that age. And I was just like, whatever. And I see this guy, and he's like huge and everything like that. He's real tall. And I'm just like, who's that? And my grandma goes, oh, that's Big Show. And I go, oh, he's cool. He's my favorite. And so before I actually like really got into wrestling, I always said that he was my favorite because he was, big and tall and all that stuff. And I thought like, he could beat the crap on anybody. I just thought that was funny, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah, I've always been a fan of Big Show. I've always had a special place in my heart for him, because even after once I really, started seeing him in the ring, once I really started watching him, I always still just really liked him. I always thought he was a great wrestler, and ever since, he kind of changed his finishing move after the choke slam because it wasn't doing that anymore. And it's funny too. Was it Chris or was it? I think it was Chris that said this post, something about finishing moves or something like that. And he asked like, yeah, and they asked like, what finishing moves are obviously, they used to be great back in the day, but now they do nothing, and choke slam was obviously one of them because Big Show obviously changed it to the knockout punch instead of, and his choke slam used to get the job done all the time, and I just thought that was interesting too, that, the choke slam used to do so much, and now it's just like everyone's kicking out of everyone's finishing moves, and it's just crazy.
It kills the suspension of disbelief a little bit. I was actually going to do a specific video on the choke slam on my channel. I'm glad we're kind of talking about it. I do feel like that, the spear, and other moves have certainly been devalued over the years just due to overusage. I mean, you look at the spear, yeah, Roman does a decent version of it, but it's been utilized so many times. That's why I think myself and a lot of other people, Chris Sterling included, would rather see him use the Superman punch as his actual finisher than the spear, because at least it's different. You kind of buy the fact that the Superman punch is a knockout. Now, when the Big Show used to do the choke slam, even back in WCW and WWE, he would lift guys like Scott Hall, Sting, The Rock, Triple H up above his head. He'd call the move the showstopper. He'd kind of twist around with it and then choke slam him down. It was a very dominant choke slam. But it almost seems like Big Show's gotten lackadaisical with it. When he hit Rusev with the choke slam this Monday, it's very weak. It kind of just like, kind of threw him down real quick. Try to lift him up and show that massive power and strength that he has. And let's not get it twisted. Like I said, I've had some negative sentiments towards Big Show in recent videos. Big Show is an icon, is a Hall of Famer, and for what Big Show's been able to do for his size, and even in this accelerated age that he has, I think if Andre the Giant wasn't such a revered figure, people would feel a lot more comfortable saying Big Show was the better Giant. But it's just because Andre was such a revered figure, people have a hard time saying that.
Definitely. But I definitely think this Rusev feud is going to help him out a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't mind if Hulk Hogan got involved, who's Big Show's legitimate friend. People know this. Like they've been besties for a long time now. Big Show's one of those guys who's friends with everybody, barely has heat with anybody. I think him and Mick Foley are like the only two who can kind of make that distinction. But yeah, I think Hulk Hogan getting involved and maybe being that like in Big Show's corner, I think it would be cool. I doubt they'll actually do it, but I think it would be something interesting to do, especially if Hogan's gonna be around the next few weeks.
Yeah, he just keeps showing up randomly, and he won't even like be talking about anything like wrestling related. He'll just be talking about random stuff, and it's just to show him almost like on TV, just for ratings. Like they think they're gonna just get ratings from this. Just kind of ridiculous.
Best used to be for TNA. He's like going out there and shilling stuff for him. Whether it was the pink gear this week or the WWE Network, he's like their official seller guy for stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, next is I guess I can say a butthurt category. Renee interviews Xena, and she asked him pretty much what's going on with him teaming up with Dean. You know, like, is he ready for it? Is he excited? Whatever. And he goes, well, you know, I know a lot of people like him, and I'd rather be, you know, for him than, you know, going up against him and stuff like that. And then Dean comes up from behind Renee, and he just kind of creeps in the interview. It's just so funny. And he, you know, talks and everything and says, you know, it's fine that we're teaming tonight, but after this, Rollins is mine. And Xena goes, no, he's mine. And Dean says that he doesn't share food off of his plate. And there's some tension, obviously, in there. And that's why I think this is obviously going to go into the Hell in a Cell thing. And why I say this is butthurt, I know this is kind of not wrestling related, but I do kind of want to talk about it. People are just getting so butthurt about the whole Renee and Dean thing. It just needs to stop. It's getting so ridiculous. And sorry, that was my dad. Anyways, it's getting so ridiculous because it's just, I don't even know. It's just like, ugh, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. And it's funny because obviously, you know, of her facial expressions when she has to interview him and everything like that. It's just funny, but it's just people are going crazy because, like, they'll fight and say that they're not going out and then fight and say they are going out. And it's just like, it's their life, you know. It's just like, this is personal business. It's not wrestling related. And it's just like people need to just chill out about that. And I just see it all over Twitter whenever I like just try to find a cool picture of Dean Ambrose, and they'll just be like talking about it, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I didn't realize, I haven't been paying attention to the discussion of Renee and Dean's relationship on social media, but I certainly believe you. And honestly, we've seen it before. I mean, this goes all the way back to Matt Hardy, Edge, and Lita, which of course was turned into a storyline. And I feel like after that, now everybody feels like they're invested in everybody's personal life, whether it's Eden and Cody Rhodes, whether obviously with Total Divas, that's another thing that now people feel like they're privy to people's personal life because they see it on Total Divas. You know, you see the CM Punk chants when AJ comes out. It's like, enough already. Like, ooh, whoopity-doo. He's going out with Renee Young. Like, can we have the suspension of disbelief and let the girl interview the guy without, like, the IWC getting all awkward about it? I mean, like you said, Haley, enough is enough. This is people's personal lives, and I really think it's sickening and sociopathic and very disgusting that a lot of you so-called fans out there who want to revere these wrestlers and respect these wrestlers will go to so much lengths to not only find out their personal life, but comment on their personal life and share their, you know, even with the whole wedding pictures with AJ and Punk, and I thought Punk was a little bit out of line with that. But still, like, you know what I mean? People need to chillax with people's personal lives. Like, enough is enough. Like, can we let these characters be the character? It is a television show. Can we let these characters be characters? Like, come on now. Like, give me a break. Like, Renee Young doesn't need that. And I feel like they may end up breaking up because Renee Young wants to be taken seriously as a journalist, of course. And, like, the last thing she wants to do is get caught up in wrestling dating drama, which is easy to get caught up with when in a locker room setting. So I feel like fans, you really need to chill out because nothing grinds my gears, as the great Peter Griffin would say, more than just this invasion of privacy. I mean, people, like, even see it like myself, people like trying to, it's creepy, it's disgusting, it's not endearing, and you people should take a harsh look in the goddamn mirror and maybe focus on your own actual life than be so fixated on people's relationships and all this stuff. It's sickening, and I'm with you on this one.
It's actually funny, too, because my website actually said something about this. And obviously they are going out. My friend, and I actually have proof on this, my friend actually met them backstage. She met Dean, Renee, Seth, Layla, and not Layla, like Layla, his fiance, Layla. and Roman and his wife or his fiance, and like she said, like they're all really nice people. So, and she said like Layla's shy and everything. So she did confirm me that they are in fact going out. But it's just ridiculous because Vince actually said because of this whole thing going on a few months ago, he actually wanted them to break up because of the whole business thing, and he said like it was going to I guess interfere with their whole thing, like the whole thing with Renee going to ESPN and everything like that, so that's why they keep promoting her and bringing her up more because they want her, you know, she knows her stuff and everything, but they almost like didn't want the whole Renee and Dean thing going on because they thought it would distract her from actually doing her job. And it's just, it's really upsetting that people, you know, fight about if they're going out or not, and it's just like they are, but it's just like, just leave them alone, you know. And people will post pictures, take pictures of them walking. I find a whole bunch of pictures of them online. It's just sickening. It's just, oh my God, get a fucking life.
It's creepy. It's very creepy. And again, the business has set the precedent for this with the Matt and Hardy and Edge and Lita storyline with Total Divas. So now people are just so infatuated with it that they're going to extreme lengths. And I just find it sickening, and I feel like a lot of people should take a look in the mirror and ask themselves, why am I living vicariously through these people's relationships? Like, maybe you should focus on having your own relationship, or focus on your own family life, or your own friends, or your own school, or your own work, or your own whatever endeavor that you do. I mean, like, it's one thing to be fascinated by it. Was I aware that Dean and Renee were an item? Yes, I was aware for quite a while. Does it, you know, is it cool? Yeah. Awesome. Does it really captivate my attention besides that? No, that's their prerogative. And, like, I mean, that's really, you know, I hope Renee had Dean tested, because I know Dean, what was that nickname? The Titty Master that was going around the internet? I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, I've heard stories of Mr. Moxley and ring rats, if you will, so that's all I'm saying. I mean, hopefully it was some testing before that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know, talk about dirty deeds. Dean definitely is kind of a dirty dog, so, you know. That's just kind of a rant. But besides that, it's like, you know, I shouldn't even know that, quite frankly. The fact that I know that is a little bit sickening. So like, people need to chillax. You know, you see it, you saw it with the naked picture scandal with all the celebrities, which is kind of the gift that keeps on giving, because there's been second and third waves of videos and pictures from celebrities, and that's included wrestlers like Velvet Sky, Melina, among others. So it's not just impacting the celebrity world, it's impacting, I even think Lana and Rusev together had a pic leaked out, which is another real
Lana's been doing some crazy stuff. I found some crazy photos of her just trying to find a cool picture, and it's just like, just type in her name and just this stuff pops up, and it's just crazy.
Google has no porn filter.
Yeah. And, you know, guys, I'm sorry. I know this isn't really wrestling related, but I just kind of wanted to brief it out for a minute there, because I know it's like a real butthurt, obviously, topic right now. And I just thought I'd mention that because, obviously, you know, she smiled, obviously, when he came up from behind her. And I just wanted to, you know, admit that, or, you know, mention that, because, you know, people are really getting kind of crazy with that whole thing.
With that segment, the butt hurt segment of the week, pretty much talking about the IWC and fans, you know, butt hurt segment of the week. I like it.
And that's pretty much what I said. People are so butthurt about it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it.
Next is AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox, and you know, Paige comes out and she says that, you know, AJ Lee hurt her feelings and stuff like that, and she introduces her new best friend, and I just think it's funny that it's Alicia Fox, because Alicia Fox is crazy just like AJ Lee. And Alicia Fox, she actually wins off of a distraction, and then they both attack AJ Lee, and that's pretty much that. And I thought they were going to pour pop on her, but instead of pouring the pop at her, they actually, like, threw both cans at her. I thought that was just, I was just like, what is that? I'm just like, why even get them out if you're not going to pour pop on her? Alicia Fox just kind of threw them next to her. It's pretty funny. She's
Return told Alicia Fox. I thought this was the strongest of the three diva matches / segment, whatever you want to call it. I thought it made sense for Alicia Fox to get thrown in there, because she was kind of the in between buffer when AJ was gone. She was kind of the one talent they trusted to work with Paige when AJ was gone, and they kind of just stripped her of that character and made her irrelevant again when AJ came back. So, I mean, now it at least connects the dots, and there's been so many plot holes in WWE in the past few years. It's good that they kind of brought this back, and you know, Foxy, I felt, was doing an excellent job in that role. You know, I thought her and Oksana were a terrible tag team. I was actually glad that the WWE released her for that reason. And, you know, her and Paige, they're both tall, lanky. They're both kind of going with the psychotic gimmick, I guess you could say. So, works for me. Maybe, does AJ call her old buddy Caitlyn to come have her back? I mean, like how does this
I hope so. I think Caitlyn's not going to come back, though, but I would love that, seriously. That would be so awesome. But that's pretty much that. They actually did say that Paige and AJ are going to have a rematch at Hell in a Cell. That's also what my website said. That's one of the matches, I guess. They're supposed to have a rematch for the Divas, and it's supposed to just be them, so that's good.
I have another Joey Dice fact of the week. You've seen the Divas title go back and forth with AJ Lee and Paige. The last time this happened was in 2009 with Melina and Mickie James, and they traded the Divas title back and forth, I think, twice on 4 straight pay-per-views.
Oh.
So,
yeah, I don't even know who's going to win anymore. Like, I still feel like AJ is going to keep it again, but I don't even know. I feel like, I mean, like, I thought they were actually going to keep it on Paige. Obviously, I thought that was just, like, to obviously turn Paige heel, and that's why they did the whole thing, and so that when Paige won it, I thought that was going to be it, but obviously not. Obviously, they're just trying to, I don't know if they're just having this feud trying to continue longer or what, because it's just like, oh, you beat me, I get a rematch, oh, and then I win, oh, I get a rematch, you beat me, you know, it's just like, it's like going to be a never-ending story.
I'm just glad they've gotten the Bellas away from this storyline.
Yeah, definitely. Sheamus versus Damien Mizdow. And this is a pretty just basic match. Sheamus wins. And the Miz kind of looks... I don't know, maybe this is why they had him fight Sheamus. I'm thinking maybe Miz is going to fight with Sheamus now. Maybe they like kind of switched positions. Did you get that vibe too?
Yeah. I feel like that's where we're going with this. It seems like a logical transition. Miz and Ziggler have kind of had their feud, and Miz and Sheamus is kind of a fresh matchup. And Miz, I have said it, I believe on this show, is one of the greatest recent United States champions, which I'm talking past 5-7 years. When he had the title, he won the Money in the Bank, and he ended up, you know, he lost it to Daniel Bryan, the U.S. title, when Daniel Bryan was still new on the scene. But he ended up cashing in that Money in the Bank on Randy Orton and winning and holding the title throughout WrestleMania. So I felt like that was one of the better showcases of the United States Championship, having it on a guy to enhance him from the mid-card to essentially a #1 contender role. And I'm not saying that's what they're going to do with Miz this time if he ends up winning the U.S. title. But I would like to see Miz, you know, get the U.S. title back. I feel like that's a title that fits him well, and I feel like that title's not done Sheamus any favors, and vice versa. I don't think Sheamus has done that title any favors.
Yeah, Sheamus just needs to turn heel, please. I seriously would love it if they eventually turn Sheamus heel. I really think he needs it, but it's just like they can only do so many heel and face turns at a time, you know? And I mean, I can name like 10 people right now that need a heel or a face turn, and it's just like, I mean, they don't want to do them all at once, but I feel like they need to at least do 1 or 2 in the next few months. I really do, just to give it a clean slate, you know.
Agreed.
Hulk Hogan comes out. He pretty much just talks about breast cancer awareness. It was pretty much what you said. They just use them to, you know, get the word out, like with the WWE Network and everything like that. I kind of do. Even though I don't like Hulk Hogan, I kind of hope that they do something with him soon, put him in a feud, something, even have him as a manager, or, you know, for a few months or something before he actually, you know, feuds with Cena or whoever he's going to feud with. They need to give him something, because this is just, what is he going to do? They're going to just have him come back once a month just for something random, and it's just,
else.
Oh, it's just he doesn't really bring ratings. Like, I mean, at least to me, I don't think he does anymore. I mean, in the back in the day, yeah, he did, but
He had what, 3 years in TNA. He didn't exactly put them over the top. So
exactly. Like, people are getting bored with him. I mean, I feel like people don't really want to see him anymore, and it's not really that surprising when he comes out. Like, it's just, I don't know.
well, like you said, once a month he's out there selling something. They've kind of, so far the WrestleMania thing was cool. You had The Rock host WrestleMania, then you had Hogan come host WrestleMania. That was cool. It sets a precedent for legends hosting WrestleMania. I'm okay with that. And then the NWO reunion with the Hogan birthday thing, that was just kind of random. It was like, all right, we got Hogan back. Let's kind of throw a Hogan party here. And, there was rumors he wanted to maybe get a shot at Brock or something. I mean, that would just be ridiculous and stupid.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
And I really think the only person that's logical, if you were to have a match, is Cena, just because of the historical element of it. And I think Cena's a clean enough worker and a simple enough worker to where Hogan could handle it and not get hurt. But,
Brock, oh, my God, Brock will,
Well, we already saw it in 2002 when he destroyed Hulk Hogan. Put him in the had him submit in that bear hug lock, where usually Hogan they raise the arms 3 times. Usually Hogan hulks up at the third, but no, he was put to sleep and bled out, and it was really it was actually the go home SmackDown before Brock beat The Rock at SummerSlam. So it was part of that whole run that Brock went on to get his first title, taking out all those big stars, Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam. Would have been Stone Cold Steve Austin as part of it if he didn't pull a CM Punk to walk out. So, that just wouldn't have been good. But I feel, we were talking about earlier, I feel like Hogan managing Big Show would make sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because of the whole angle with him and Rusev, and obviously, yeah. And then Hogan had that one gimmick, where wasn't he like not able to, he was like banned from the building or something like that?
Are you talking about
He had that whole gimmick with what was that called? Yeah.
Mr. America?
Yeah, exactly.
He lost to Vince McMahon at WrestleMania, which meant he was kayfabe fired. And Stephanie had this new free agent who was the GM of SmackDown at the time. And this new free agent was Mr. America, brother. And it actually ties into some recent topics we've talked about because they had Roddy Piper come back, which was just kind of stupid. Roddy Piper had a bout of cancer, and he was overweight and flubby, and Vince was poking at his weight and all this stuff. And then they put Roddy Piper with Sean O'Haire, which made no sense because Sean O'Haire was doing fine with this new Devil's Advocate gimmick that I talked about. And then they put him with Piper, and then Piper ended up blasting WWE on this interview with Bob Costas on HBO, and they ended up firing Piper, and essentially Sean O'Haire was guilty by association and de-pushed and ended up being released after that as well. But, Mr. America did work guys like Roddy Piper, like Sean O'Haire. Sean O'Haire got a victory over Hulk Hogan. How about that, huh? Guess no one knew that one. So it was interesting, but it was one of those things, like, obviously everyone knew it was Hogan, but it was kind of cheesy. It was Hogan's last run, really, before he would come back and wrestle Shawn Michaels in 2005 and then Randy Orton in 2006. But that was kind of his last run besides those 2 matches.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, he needs to just, I'm just getting sick of him. He needs to just go away. I mean, or at least give him something, If you're really going to have him on TV, give him something, Because I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind actually seeing him if they actually give him something.
Brother.
Randy and Kane backstage, and I definitely want to talk about this because of the whole Randy face turn and all that. They're pretty much mad at Seth, and they pretty much say that they're going to do something, and that they're all mad, and they're deciding, and they're like teaming up together and everything, and Stephanie tells them that they're going to do their job, and that Dean made the Authority look bad, and that obviously relates to them too. So she says that they need to get the job done, and obviously for the Authority because they're family. And she also says they're losing their touch. She says they've gone soft, and that obviously they're not who they used to be, and that's actually so true too. Stephanie was definitely the honest person last night, but and she said like yeah, that's pretty much what she said. But the whole gist of this is I wonder if Randy and Kane are eventually going to turn on the Authority and obviously just have Seth with the Authority, have them, because obviously Seth is like their pride and joy right now, and they protect him and everything. And, you know, Kane and Randy are like, they're almost like they're bitches, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because as soon as Seth turned heel, I was worried about Seth becoming their bitch, but it actually looks like it's the opposite. They're treating Seth like a king, and obviously Kane and Randy are their bitches. And I definitely think that Kane and Randy are going to get sick of it eventually. I don't know if it's going to happen like in the next month or two, or if it's going to happen like maybe around WrestleMania or something like that. But I definitely see eventually Kane and Randy turning on the Authority. And maybe them being a heel tag team. I mean, I guess, but I don't want them to turn face. I mean, I wouldn't mind them, you know, leaving the Authority. Actually, Kane needs to leave the Authority. But, yeah, I don't want them to turn face in the process, and that's going to be a little bit hard because, I mean, I don't know, because usually when they turn on a heel, they're obviously going to turn face. So I don't know how they would do this to keep them heel, but
I think they'll drag it out for a while, maybe till after Survivor Series. And I think Orton, if he does it, I think he'll do it by himself. I think, for me, Kane is just too damaged to be taken seriously anymore. But, like, with Randy, there's been a lot of grumblings and rumors that he's not happy with his role, and he's bitching, moaning. He almost walked out last week, and he wants a new push and this and that.
Oh, Randy. Randy.
He wanted time off, and they wouldn't let him take time off because Brian and Roman's injury. So there's all kind of rumors with Randy Orton right now. I'm not sure where they're going to go with it. I feel like it's logical to at least have one matchup with Brock and Randy, where they've never really fought besides one time on SmackDown in 2002 when Randy was fresh out of developmental. I believe it was actually the first match ever where Randy used the inverted neck breaker, the little crunchy inverted neck breaker he does. First match ever he used that was that match. But, you know, it's never been done in a marquee matchup. And if Batista, there's rumors he may come back for Royal Rumble, maybe not. You know, supposedly he wants Hunter at WrestleMania. So if Batista's off the board, Randy Orton, yeah, at least got to do that once. I mean, I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, and, you know, maybe Randy needs to be a face. I feel like they could almost go with it where, like, kind of the fans choose, where Randy could kind of go ape shit and, like, not necessarily be a face, but have the fans choose, and then have, calls left and right. Like I said, when you're part of a wrestling organization and you do radio and you're part of 2 YouTube channels, you're a busy man. So my apologies to Haley and everybody who's watching right now for the interruptions, but that's about my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I really like Randy, but he just has such a bad attitude. Oh, God. Randy's one of my favorites, actually, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I definitely see him turning on the Authority, though, but we'll see where he takes them. I don't know if I would like to see him have one more run with the title before he retires, but we'll see. I know people are getting sick of him, too, but I like Randy. Randy's just different to me, and I like Cena, too. It's not like I don't like Cena, but Randy is just, I've always been a fan of Randy. As soon as I seen him with Evolution, you know, I seen talent right away, and especially right when he left Evolution, I mean, his career skyrocketed. Everyone was, like, in love with Randy, and now it just seems like, you know, the people are just getting sick of him, and they're hating on him, and it's just like, that's what I call not true fans. Kind of like the same thing with Seth, too. They loved him when he was in the Shield, and then now they're just saying that he's an asshole and they can't stand him and everything like that. Just like that one kid. Oh, my God. Joe, you've seen it, right? Oh, God. That one kid that pretty much said that something about Seth, and he said he messaged me and he said, "Oh, have fun with Seth, you know, your sellout buddy and everything like that. I only liked him when he was with the Shield and stuff like that." I'm like, then you never really liked him. If you don't like him, no matter what, then you're not a true fan. And it's just like, oh.
Hey, newsflash: the Shield were heels for over a year, dumbasses. Freaking marks. Oh my God.
Just a joke. It was just so funny.
In the words of the great Jay-Z, it's only entertainment.
But yeah, they just crazy ass fans that just don't care, and they just it's just like, even though Randy has had a lot of title shots and everything like that, and titles and everything, I still like him. And same with Cena, even though I think Cena has obviously overpassed his titles, I still like him too, because obviously I was a fan in the beginning when he was a heel, and I'm not gonna be like, oh no, I'm getting sick of him, I'm only gonna like him when he's a heel. You know, that's just a joke right there.
I mean, I feel like at this point, or if you don't take or even Big Show or you know, Orton, Cena, these guys are legends. These guys are future Hall of Famers. These guys have carried the company for 10+ years, and you got to respect that. The key is the WWE has to change with the times and has to develop new stars. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and we're not saying knock Cena and Orton down and make them irrelevant, but people have to beat them to become stars. And until that happens on a consistent basis, I do think there's going to be soreness from the internet towards Orton and Cena, which I can at least understand that a bit more than some of this other stuff you're talking about with Seth and Ambrose. And God, ugh, it makes me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan sometimes, the way some people act. It genuinely does. It genuinely does. Get your act together, guys. What the hell? Ooh, you like shit because he's a heel. He was a heel for over a year. And they turned face, what, when they faced the Wyatts in January, they turned face? I mean, God. They weren't even faces for that long. It was just, they were heels for so long, you grew to respect them. Mm-hmm. And, like, anyone who thinks Seth Rollins is doing a bad job, you're falling for it. You're idiots. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
It's funny, too, because he even told me that he doesn't even watch wrestling anymore. And it's just like, then why are you arguing with me? And then he deletes me when Paul and everybody else proves him wrong. It's just so funny. I just love people like that. They can't take facts. Like, it's just like, even though they've been proven wrong, they just can't take facts. It's horrible.
It's like the promo Hunter cut a few months ago where he's like, me and my friend Mark are going to stop watching. Like, it's so true. That's how fans act. And it's like, you know, if you like the product, watch it. If you want to be critical of the product, you have that God-given right. We certainly are critical of the product on this show and on my own channel as well. I can be critical of the product. I'm not saying don't be critical of the product, but let's be realistic within our criticisms. Okay, people? Let's be goddamn realistic. And if you're going to sit there and like, you know, it's one thing to, like, all right, play up in the storyline and you're going to genuinely dislike Seth Rollins for the storyline. I'll give you an example of my own fandom here. CM Punk, bringing his name up again. I was a big fan of CM Punk throughout his career, and when he joined the Straight Edge Society, when he did the Jeff Hardy feud, now I was a big Jeff Hardy fan, and I thought Jeff Hardy deserved a decent run with the title and everything before he left. And he just tore Jeff Hardy down. And, I mean, I watch it back now, and I really enjoy it because it was great work. But in the heat of the moment, it definitely got me and a lot of people like, damn, Punk, you're an asshole, bro. Like all the stuff with the Straight Edge Society and shaving the girl's head and everything else. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I was never really a Jeff Hardy fan. I'll say that right now. We just lost Joe, but I definitely was never a Jeff Hardy fan. I never really liked him. I really didn't like Matt either. I was just not a fan of the Hardy Boys. I don't know what it was. I mean, they're talented and everything. I actually think Jeff Hardy's one of obviously the best high flyers. And he actually was on the countdown. I think he was number 2 for the best high flyers, and Seth was 10. That made me happy. He was like the only recent guy that was in the top 10 high flyers. He was the only one. Everyone else was like Eddie Guerrero, which was awesome. Rey Mysterio, Lita, like all you know, old school wrestlers. But yeah, nothing against Jeff Hardy, but I was never a fan of him. Never a fan of Matt either. I mean, I liked Matt a little tiny bit better than Jeff, but I was never really a fan of him. It was just my opinion. I don't know. It's just they didn't really get it for me. And I don't know. I really wasn't. I didn't really think Matt Hardy was like overly talented, but I did think Jeff was talented. And he was a great high flyer. But other than that, I wasn't crazy about him. So that's probably why I liked CM Punk. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious when he obviously imitated Jeff Hardy. But yep, that's pretty much that.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe's trying to get back here. I guess we'll go to the main event.
I'm back.
Dean Ambrose and John Cena versus Randy and Kane. Now this match, obviously, John Cena starts off, and Dean's trying to get in the match. People are going crazy and everything like that. And you knew something was going to happen. I knew something was going to happen between these two. There was tension all throughout the night and through last week. And Dean obviously finally gets back in, and he's going for the win. And he does dirty deeds and everything, and he goes for the, cover, and Seth comes out of nowhere and he attacks him. And then they all three, him, Randy, and Kane, all do their finishing moves. Kane does first an RKO, then a chokeslam, and then Seth gets his briefcase underneath Dean's head, and then obviously does the blackout, and they do the same thing with John Cena. Now, while they're doing this, too, before this, I actually forgot about this, John Cena and Dean are trying to attack Seth. They're both trying to attack him at the same time, and obviously they didn't like that, and John pulled Dean back and then threw him kind of across the ring and then just started attacking Seth, and Dean was just like, oh, hell no, and he throws John Cena out of the ring. And that was pretty much that. And they do the same thing to John Cena, too. They do the RKO, then the chokeslam, and then the blackout into the briefcase. And obviously, Seth looked extremely strong here. Definitely good for a future WWE World Champion right here. He looked very strong. I was actually happy that they made him look strong, not like a weak-ass, person that they have been making him look like. Because, I mean, I get that he's heel, but it's just like you got to make him look strong if he's obviously going to beat Roman, obviously, at WrestleMania. But, yeah, he looked very strong there, and obviously there's some tension between John Cena and Dean, so I definitely want to see what they're going to do with that next week, probably, because I don't know, they could do something tonight on SmackDown for it, but I don't know. I think they're going to wait until Raw to do that. But obviously Seth's got his briefcase back. Everything's good in hands. And, yeah, they all looked strong. And looks like Randy and Kane looked like they were happy with Seth, too, at the end. They were all smiling again, all happy friends. So, as for now, anyways. But, yeah, it was a good ending, definitely, to Raw. It was definitely an improvement. Joe, your thoughts? Oh, no, your mic. Oh. Your mic's off. Oh, no. That's what happens when you get too many phone calls.
Yep. Exactly.
Your phone messes up with the volume.
Can you hear me or no?
Yeah. You might have to get right out, and I can send you a link. I can send you the link. You might have to get out, and then I'll send you the link again. Try it with this.
I got it.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Joe's phone likes to cut his mic out whenever he gets a phone call, so... Come on, thing. Oh, there we go. I hear him.
All right, you can hear me.
Yep, you're good. Can't see your camera, but I'd rather be able to hear you than see your camera. We're almost done anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all in all, I thought it was a solid Raw, Haley. I thought they did a good job of building up both Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. For Dean to have that great segment, like I said, it was reminiscent of Eddie Guerrero, Stone Cold Steve Austin, very entertaining. And then, Seth to come out strong at the end, get the heat on both Cena and Ambrose. And the crowd actually chanting, thank you, Rollins, I believe, at the end when he curb stomped.
I knew I was going to forget that. I knew I was. Chicago cheers for everybody. They were actually cheering for him when he came out, too. His music came out and everything, too. Yeah, that's what I like about Chicago. They cheer for heels and faces. I love it.
they cheer the people who deserve to be cheered, and that's why I give Chicago fans a lot of credit, and I do think they're some of the best fans in the world, and they didn't go overboard with the CM Punk chant. You heard a few of them in the main event, which weren't surprising, and of course a little bit in the beginning, but you really didn't even hear it when AJ came out. All in all, I thought the fans are really good, and letting, don't overshadow the characters on the show with your own agenda. You have your agenda with CM Punk, that's fine, but I hate it when people overshadow the action and the characters that, are desperately trying to get the attention of the WWE Universe, and they're being overshadowed by these chants. And you heard with the Michael Cole, and all that other stuff, too. It gets stupid after a while. It was fun when some of these crowds have done it, the Raw after WrestleMania, especially after the Daniel Bryan, Sheamus screw job, and all of that. But enough is enough. Like, you're just copycats. You're not original. You're not cool. You're not like the ECW crowd. You're not even like the Ring of Honor crowd. You're just a bunch of sheep disguised as wolves.
Definitely. Raw was definitely improvement, though. I did like the ending. It was good. Seth looking strong. That always makes me happy. And Dean obviously looking strong, too, And that obviously, I hope he does prove them wrong, too, and shows that he is supposed to be in the main event, because I love Dean a lot. Dean's actually my second favorite on the roster right now. And I just, he deserves so much better, than what they think that he deserves, And it's funny, too, because, if they really want to go with Seth and Roman, but they made them tag teams, and then they made, Dean obviously a singles competitor, but they singles champion, but yet they act like he's not ready for the big leagues yet. And like he's going to be a mid-carder for life. And maybe he will be for the next, obviously after this, maybe he will like kind of die down for like maybe a year or two. But I definitely can see him obviously fighting for the title. And like someone told me, he might not have a very long reign for the title, and I agree with that, but he definitely will have it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mick Foley's 3 championship reigns probably in total were like 40 or 50 days or something. But his impact as champion wasn't forgotten, and people still talk about the first time he won the title. That was really what changed the Monday Night Wars. WCW gave that ending away, and then everybody changed the channel, and it was one of the highest rated segments in Raw history. So overall, I had no complaints with Raw, and with Dean Ambrose, I can definitely see him being a champion. As the Macho Man Randy Savage once said, "Oh yeah, the cream will always rise to the top." Oh yeah, dig it. And there's no way anybody, including any brass from the WWE, can tell me that Dean Ambrose isn't one of the best competitors in the WWE. Although I will say one thing, Haley, and I know that your screen's kind of frozen right now. I do think he's going to have to add a different finisher, or maybe change his finisher. I think the curb stomp is doing very well for Seth as his finisher. It's very believable as a strong finisher. But I think the Dirty Deeds is something that sometimes is awkward, especially when a big guy in the move, like Kane or something. You saw Kane take the Dirty Deeds early. I think that's one thing that's holding Dean back is that finisher. He's got a great move, Seth. I love his suicide dive, his little clothesline when he goes tipsy-turvy through the rope and comes back with the clothesline. He's got some great moves, and I've seen a lot of different moves he can do in CCW and stuff. So I feel like the Dirty Deeds move is something that I feel like he needs something else if he's going to be taken seriously as a world champion. I don't think the Dirty Deeds is a finisher that is just, I don't think it fits him. And you've seen EC3 and Rosebud over there, Adam Rose, use variations of the move. So it's not really even that unique at the moment. So,
yeah, people keep using it. It's overdone. I do agree with that.
So I feel like Dean's certainly a great wrestler. He's capable of finding something different. I just feel like it would behoove him to do so, just to have some. And I would say the same thing about Roman Reigns, and I would say Seth Rollins is probably the best in terms of like having different moves to go to, and like you'd go back to his work in Ring of Honor as Tyler Black, like whether he was using those buckle bombs. He's strong for a little guy.
He can do the knee. He was using the knee to the face on the top rope for a little bit for his finishing move, and that's why I thought he changed it to that, and then he just kind of went back to the blackout. So he has a he doesn't have a couple.
Started using the running knee, that he had to change it. You know what I mean? When Daniel Bryan started using the running knee, because they're kind of the same move, and they both stole it from Kenta. Oh, by the way, but you know, I feel like Seth's he can have different moves. I feel like Dean just needs one different move, and I would say the same thing with Roman. So you know me, I'm a Dean Ambrose guy. He's my favorite of the 3 Shield guys, and probably my favorite on the roster right now. So it's no disrespect to Dean. And again, we can be critical without burying these guys. And I think that's where some of these fans, like, they're either so critical, they want they you know what I mean, like you said with the Seth Rollins example, or they're so invested in their favorite that they can't see the flaws. And even you've been able to, be critical on Rollins in some of these videos. So that was kind of my thing on Dean. I do feel like his finisher is something that may need a tweak or something different. It never hurts. I mean, you saw Jericho added the Coke Breaker in his second act of his career, and it only helped him. So it couldn't hurt for him to find something different. And I know he's capable of doing something different.
Yeah, he's young, too, so I definitely can see him changing his finishing move, definitely.
Or at least adding something different.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit more like a twist on it or something, just something different, just to make it different and more brutal. Because, I mean, he's unstable, so, I mean, he needs to have a brutal kind of move.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Raw was actually pretty good. I definitely think it was an improvement. So does Joe. So don't forget to thumbs up that video, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and join our group in Facebook if this is the first time you are watching our video. And I am so sorry about all the technical difficulties. My computer is acting like a nut job right now. So I'm so sorry about all that. I still hope you enjoyed the content. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you and bye.